Hecarim pick. I think it's a strong meta pick, but outside of champions like Lilia specifically,
team fighting comp, right? Like, it just feels exactly like what this team normally puts together. If you have a look, like, outside of Hoya, the kill participation numbers for this team are just gigantic. Harong. And here we go, devastating charge comes down. Bubble connects as well as the flash is going to be used straight into the paddle star. This should be first blood as Umpty's going to pick it up for himself, and that'll save him in the jungle 100%. So the setup from Yaharong is very, very nice. Also pre-fired the paddle star towards where the devastating charge was going to come in, as we are going to have an attract repel stun, and Pyoshik's just dead. Goodbye, Mr. Kindred. But Fredit BRION are 100% pure uncut blue shell.
The pull armor is gone.
Well, so is the Orianna in the mid lane as Umpty just flies on forward. It's all too easy.
I think there's situations where you can try and defend that turret, but it's definitely a high-risk situation. Talk about high risk. Teleport's coming in.
Yeah, big teleport. Bow's just going to be executed, though. Killer Instinct gets him back underneath the turret, but Henna should be there to grab this kill. They're flooding through now as the Jinx gets so excited. Outside of turret range, back in again. The Zap's going to miss as he tries to flash, but Solka's going to be able to pick that one on. That's a beautiful sombrero that he puts on for himself, but Delight is going to flash away. Now Umpty with that attract repel wants to try and stop them here as it's a bit of a fade away. Solka still wanting to come through and grab even more. Moving on over, wanting to try and steal away yet another mark. Has 3 right now. The 4th would be so important. But Umpty doesn't want to let this happen. Hoya's moving on down from the top side as it is going to be the mark secured for Pyoshik. But is he going to survive? The train is going to just miss. But the Kindred not going to be so lucky to fear loss for just that little bit too long. And No Lamb's Respite is able to come out. But we do need to bring that sort of range problem into the fore as Umpty's trying to devastatingly charge away, but he's not going to be able to. In fact, didn't have the ulti, so couldn't even get out of that. Good follow flash. Spotted on a ward, not going to be able to find this paddle star as the bubble is going to stop this choke. Becca not going to be able to get over there as now Fredit BRION looking for this Cloud Soul point. We'll see whether we can make it a 50-50 as it goes Umpty. They do manage to secure the Great Drake on the side of DRX, and now it looks like Fredit BRION are just going to get out of there.
In terms of our health, as we see the damage coming down here.
Yeah, DRX were posturing, trying to get into position, but teleport through from Fredit BRION. Their turn now as we're going to be fighting over yet another Cloud Drake. Pyoshik trying to chunk out Umpty, but he's very tanky with this current build. Yaharong over the wall, exactly where this Zoe wants to be. The bubble not going to connect, and look at DRX, they're just going to burst down this Drake. Umpty diving on forward. Hoya drives the train into the front line. It doesn't quite do enough, and Yaharong also not going to quite find that one, but oh my god, the Magnet Storm was so good. Goodbye, Pyoshik. And now Henna's trying to kite this one out, but he's taken immediately in this fight. And everyone on DRX is so low, but they're surviving. Umpty also going to go down as now the Gragas is just massive. Gets the double kill, but gets smashed devastatingly in the end of the fight. And Becca just walks away. Better setup here from Yaharong. Zoe's one of those champions where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it definitely didn't, as now he's going to be backing. This also feels pretty bad. Yeah, there we go. I believe that was even X-Flash, and that's a shutdown.
It's the core of the composition here.
But still, they do have a lot of AoE power, so getting into this Baron Pit shouldn't be too much of a problem. Umpty gets on over the wall as Becca has to ult pretty early in this one. Solka has that Banshee's Veil, but look at the Baron. It's down so low. It's stolen by the Jinx! Was that Super Mega Death Rocket? That's ridiculous. Hoya's going to flash out as well. Attract Repel comes in as now Umpty is trying to cause a ruckus. Gets himself a decent ulti as Delight's right in there. Henna goes golden. Can't quite do the damage that he wanted to. And he once again will just get dove on. Yaharong trying to get in now. There's low health bars, but now there's no frontline. Hoya's a zombie. Bao does fall down, but Kingen, he's dived on top of this Zoe, and unfortunately, she's not going to survive this as, the barrel can't actually be activated, of course, because he was sleeping. And, yep, take a bow, my friend, because you're going back to that death chamber one more time. So, we're going to need more of them out of this Zoe as the Drake has been started, this time by Fredit BRION. Bubble, going to go wide onto Becca. We need to see more. We need to see these paddle stars connecting. More of them just going wide, going wide. Hoya soaking a bunch of damage there as a bubble will land onto the Gragas. In goes Delight, but immediately he's headbutted back out. Yaharong landing some more damage there as we get the knock up onto the cow. Umpty running extraordinarily quickly, trying to take down this Drake as DRX do back away for the moment. Now we're looking for a teleport back in. We've got Soul Point finally for Fredit BRION. That's a two-man shockwave is decent, but the flash immediately. Becker is going to be deleted as now you've got the follow-up team fight. A double kill now for the Jinx as Henna's positioning is much better. Is slowed down though, and there's another cast to come out. He's going to use that to get into even more damage. And now Bauer's pulled the trigger as Pyosik will get tagged, and that's what happens if the Zoe hits the damage. But the Jinx is also going to fall down. Bao is still at basically full health. And Hoya, yes, he's tanky, but will he actually be able to survive? The paddle start once again going wide, and Bao's going to cut down the Scion.
It's okay. We'll let them have it. And then we can wait for the Elder, and then maybe they give that up as well. The flank here.
Yep, in goes King, and the flash body slam is decent onto both of the carries. Henna is just going to get obliterated by the one-man shockwave, but that's the kind of shockwave that you're okay with. And you said long game. Well, DRX is saying that this one wants to be over right now. As you can see, Bao getting to work on this inner turret, and we'll see with both of the bot lane members dead.
And there is the most reliable damages in there, and DRX, they find these openings every single time, Atlas.
Yeah, Yaharong wanting to try and get an execute onto someone, but in goes Bao with the killer instinct, gets rid of all of the damage. Umpty relegated to the fountain. Hoya is a zombie. The last Nexus turret will be falling down. It's 8 seconds before Jinx is up, but she's going to witness that 50 gold leak out of her Nexus. As DRX do it, they turn around what was a difficult early game after what was the great 2 minutes of the early game. Then it all went to hell, and then DRX did their DRX thing. Distant damage, and Kassadin can get into a backline and really mess things up, but this
he can get in, but like it's not like a Gragas, right, that we saw last game where you can flash body slam on top of someone and the fight starts right away.
See how well he's actually going to play this, as there's the stun, should be able to put up the shield, but it's not enough. King and tanks up the turret and flashes away, as Zombie Scion should be able to tidy up this minion wave, but still, good first blood to go over to DRX. And as you can see, all 5 members grouped up around Shelly, wanting to make sure that Pyosik's not going to be able to shove down that top outer turret. Bao is slowly getting here as there's the flash in from Umpty. He's putting people to sleep as the train slightly goes wide, but a max range hook is beautiful onto Sulka as Henna finds the front line. Shelly's just going to get ignored as now Becker is delivered as a free kill to Hoya. Kingen just being slaughtered. That's a handbag just off the side of the river, and Hoya avoids that spear so beautifully. Fredit BRION come alive around the Rift Herald. He was keeping up very nicely when it came to the farm. That is stopped. And he's still going to be silent, right? But right now it's looking pretty sad. There's the pounce in. And Hoya, yeah, he's just going to take the sad dash and gets burnt down by a red buff as Yaharong's just going to get solo kill in the mid lane. All right.
What? The few situations where Scion actually does have a really big problem with doing, especially if he gets no jungle attention, as this is just really straightforward.
Just gets ulted and dies.
Yeah.
And flashes. That's actually pretty cute. But
it was very well played, yeah. I mean, it's well played by Yaharong, but throughout the initial burst, which, oh guys, this is
dirty.
This is just bullying.
Yep. Well, he's going to try and keep the minion wave away from the turret. A teleport is going to come in. That's a decent ulti as Kingen trying to get out. The turret is going to fire off another shot, but it's not quite enough as Hoya, yeah, the zombie version. As speaking of which, Drake's going to get a little bit mad here at DRX, as it looks like they're just going to try and rush this one down. Umpty's going to land a bowling ball, but only onto the Drake, as the orb finds Sulka. And now Hoya goes in there. Umpty now into the backline, takes a lantern to get to relative safety. As is going to be Drake secured by DRX, but the fight is so far going relatively well for them as well, as Pyosik grabs a double kill. The Zombie Scion will be taken down. Double kill includes the Drake, by the way, and yeah, those Monk W's certainly working out.
Don't have enough solutions for the amount of problems they need to solve, because you need to solve the Kingen problem. Pyosik is pretty fat, and then you need to get on Bao to go in.
There's a big old play as Becker dives towards Henna, and Henna just sets up with his long-range weapons. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't really do too much. The flash over the wall avoids Kingin, whose dominance will keep him alive for now, but it's a decent little pick there for Fredit BRION right as the Baron spawns. I probably wouldn't recommend it. Through just getting whichever damage he can.
TS flash.
Yeah. Drake getting mad at Fredit BRION right now as Umpty sets up the passive. Throwing the bowling balls through. Good avoidance there by DRX. A Super Mega Death Rocket just to try and soften the Fredit BRION members. Hook goes wide and out. In goes Becca with the Magnet Storm. Scatter the Weak doesn't do too much as Kingen gets exhausted. Immediately goes golden, but Becca is going to die. They've traded tanks right now as Kingen's trying to escape, but Henna untouched in the backline. Pioshik does get that soul point. Now it's a 4v4 that Fredit BRION don't look like they want to take. Whether it's going to be enough is going to be the question as Fredit BRION still moving their way around. Don't know whether they have enough blue trinkets left as it's down to half health now. Fredit BRION getting in there.
This is winnable.
It is. Bowling ball once again going to go wide. Umpty, you've got flash. Maybe it's time to be the hero, but these spears are raining down. Pioshik is playing so well on this Nidalee as he gets back into the pit. Looks like this could be a potential 50-50, although it is a level advantage as in goes the train. Finds just Kingen, goes golden, wants to take the lantern, but there's a control ward there. And the Scion is going to be taken down without any follow-up from Fredit BRION. And now, Umpty wants to be able to get forward. He's not able to secure it even with the shockwave to answer. And now Henna down at half health. Delight wanting to help him out there and does so. Kingen slowed down. There's the Unleash power from Sulka as Yaharong runs pretty quick, but that's another Super Mega Death Rocket, and maybe these Cloud Drakes are going to be great because that's the second one we've seen in, I guess, this extended skirmish. And now Umpty, he's going to go home, but maybe via the Death Chamber as Pioshik will turn up. He's going to miss that spear as, yeah, question marks indeed, Mr. Umpty.
Oh, Hoya.
Can he drift his way into the back line to set up for Yaharong is the question. No, the stun comes through. He won't be able to get that shockwave on top of him. Pioshik down to about half health as Kingen does have the ulti running. Hoya trying to soak damage here, and Kingen doing exactly the same thing. Shockwave lands onto two, but Delight already taken down. Moonlight Vigil for some value, but only onto Becca, and Hoya's also going to fall. Yaharong not finding the value he needed, and this could just be the end of the game. As it's Henna, Umpty, and Yaharong against the world. Oh, well, Henna does a lot of damage, okay. We forgot how many years were represented in this team as the Spears also. And look at that damage done.
That's not a surprising one, right? Oh, he did
go in! Yeah, they finally get the sleep onto Sulka this time, but he survives for so long, gets so much of his damage down. The Aphelios, in the meantime, is going to be obliterated, and Bao in the backline is fighting with Umpty, who's just going to run away, burns down. And good night, Mr. Hoya, who this time around dies last, as it's a quadra kill for Pioshik, who honestly put this game in his backpack.
I'll take this as a win-win, Atlas, because we see two things. One, Fredit BRION, indubitably, they've progressed. They've developed over the course of the split, and we see those moments here as well. But more importantly, DRX are just legitimately an incredibly good team that play to their outs. Again, I'm going to say it, especially with the Gen G downfall that's kind of been on.